Hello everyone. Thank you for providing me this opportunity to speak about my research here. My name is Sharad Sigdel. I'm doing my master's in the Department of Forestry and Environmental Management. And today I'm going to present about my research, which is on high resolution apple orchard suitability mapping for popular varieties across New Brunswick. And this is the map of New Brunswick, which will be my research area. And there is just one little small box and a small circle, which is the most apple cultivated areas in New Brunswick, and it is only limited in those areas, which is near Moncton, and it's in St. John River Valley from Woodstock to Gagetown. And there is just 3 million annual production of apple in New Brunswick, and there are more than 20 plus varieties cultivated here. And these are the most popular varieties that are cultivated in New Brunswick. Depends on the weather and climate. And I have classified those varieties into 3 classes, which is early season varieties, mid-season varieties, and late season varieties. Early season is mostly harvested in August, mid-season is harvested in September, and late season varieties is harvested in October. And my research objective will be to find the optimal apple orchard locations based on soil type, topography, and climate. And this will be my whole methodology. I will be conducting my research in GIS using the application ArcGIS Pro, and I need the data layers such as growing degree days, which means GDD, and frost-free days that depends on climatic conditions, and soil properties, and I need surface expression, that means the slope and aspect, so which is going to affect the production of apple. And I'll integrate all those factors to make orchard suitability. And this is my first layer, which is growing degree days. Growing degree days means basically it's accumulation of heat units over the growing season. And apple starts to grow at 5 degrees Celsius, which is base temperature. Below 5 degrees Celsius, they just stay dormant. And after 5 degrees Celsius, they starts to break dormancy, which means when there is 100 units of heat, then they will break dormancy, and in 1200 growing degree days, the apple tree ripes. But New Brunswick has just 1200 to 1800 heat units, which means lowest in northern areas. As you can see, that red and yellow area means unsuitable, and green area means suitable. So it's near Mount Carlton, and in northern areas the growing degree days is very low. However, in southern areas it's maximum. And the next layer that we need is frost-free days. Frost-free days means the basically average days after spring. It's like frost-free days means after spring and before fall. It's between those days without frost. Frost is very harmful and damaging for apple trees, so they affect during the period of bud formation and flowering and fruit development in spring, and ripening during summer. So we need to avoid those days, and apple tree generally requires 110 to 130 frost-free days depending on cultivars. However, New Brunswick has just 90 to 140 frost-free days, and lowest in northwest region again, and based in near the Bay of Fundy and southern part of province. And next is frost pocket occurrence. It's basically the formation in even in summer, in windless night, when there is clear sky, the earth's surface loses heat to space, and the adjacent layer of air starts to cool down. Those cool air are more denser than hot air, so they tries to go down and stay in those traps in valleys and in depressions, and that make frost patches. which is very harmful for plants because it might kill leaves and bud and even the trees. So we need to avoid those areas, and those replaced hot air will go in elevated areas and stay there, which we call thermal belt. And after the thermal belt, the temperature again starts to decrease with the elevation. When elevation rises, temperature decreases again. So we need to avoid those areas. And here is the frost bucket map of New Brunswick, where those red areas are unsuitable and green areas are suitable. Those red areas are basically depressions and valleys, which is the most in northwest New Brunswick. When we go to Edmundston and those areas has like uptown, downtown, uptown, downhill, like that. So in those downhills it traps, and which is unsuitable. And next is slope. If a slope is greater than 20%, then there will be chances of more erosion, and water drainage will be high, so plant will get drought stress, and harvesting and mechanization will be difficult in those areas, and sunlight exposure will be less, especially if the slope is facing northern side. So those areas with red and yellow has more aggressive slope near Bay of Fundy and northern regions. However, from Fredericton central region to mountain and Bathurst, this has more flat land, so it's more suitable in context of slope. And next is solar radiation. It's very important for photosynthesis. So, and the solar exposure mostly depends on the aspect. Aspect means the direction of slope, and then slope itself and latitude. Latitude, like New Brunswick ranges from 45 to 48 degree in northern hemisphere. And in context of aspect, if slope is facing northeast region, then it will receive very less sunlight, which is not sufficient to grow our apple tree. And the slope facing southwest region gets the highest amount of sunlight. And slope like 30 to 35% slope receive more sunlight in comparison to flat land. And this is our radiation map. The red areas where the sunlight will be minimum, and greener areas where sunlight will be maximum during growing periods. And this is depth to water map. Depth to water means the vertical distance of water table from the surface. So when we move away from the edge of pond, lake or water body, the elevation starts to rise, so which affects water drainage. And for apple tree we need well aerated moist soil, which is very suitable. However, poorly drained soil, which is unsuitable, like plant cannot breathe on those conditions. Based on water table and mottling. Mottling means the streaks, splotches and patches in soil, which determines the soil drainage. So if soil has no mottling, then it will be suitable, and weak mottling below 50 centimeter will also be suitable. However, strong mottling below 50 centimeter and strong mottling within 50 centimeter, those soils are relatively unsuitable for apple trees. Here we can see like Grand Lakes is here, and this is St. John River, which looks red, that means unsuitable. And those red area are like poorly drainage, and so depth to water is almost zero, and some marshy lands, these are unsuitable. However, greener areas are more suitable for apple tree. And this is soil suitability map. Here in this map, the northwest region and near the St. John and Bay of Fundy looks more greener, which means it's more suitable for tree growing. However, those regions from Fredericton to Mountain and Bathurst, central region and eastern regions, are not good in context of soil in comparison to other area. And I have used 4 sub layers to make soil suitability layer. That is soil texture, which is the proportion of sand, silt and clay. So if the soil is clay, then there will be problem of water logging, the infiltration and drainage will be very less. And if soil is sandy, it loses moisture and it can't hold any nutrition and water. So it dry out quickly, so the plant can survive in those conditions. So we need loamy soil, which is the best, and depth to compaction means it's a rooting zone. Plant tree needs at least 100 centimeter of rooting zone, so that type of soil will be suitable. And in context of coarse fragment content, if there is more stones, boulders and rocks, in those conditions the plant will perform very poorly. And if we have like more calcium in soil, then it will be better to reduce the soil acidity, so it keeps soil in neutral phase, which is good for trees. And this is the basically map of our soil suitability. And after combining all those layers that I talked about, which is 7 layers, we get those results, which is like you can see the northwest region in New Brunswick, which is in red and yellow color, which is very poor regions where apple can grow. And those greener areas, darker greener areas, these are the best region to grow apple. And we can also see in those areas and in St. John River Valley. And these are the apple farms in New Brunswick, which is already existed in New Brunswick. So these are the red dots. So if we see, southern area and central area has more farms and northern area is empty basically. So this result also shows that our model is working great. And I have taken example of 3 apple orchards, A, B and C, and I'll show those results here. This one picture, left one is our model, and central one and right one is taken from Google Earth Pro from different time period. Wherever you see these red patches and yellow patches, the plant cannot grow in those conditions. So you can see here exactly it's growing like that. There are no tree and no cultivation. So that means those areas are very poor. So our model is working greatly if we compare with the already established orchards. And this is second example. You can see again here in those red and yellow area, and I have taken this photo from 2023 March, and there is a water patches, which means flooding area, flooding zone, and where tree cannot grow well, like they will die because of lack of oxygen. The root needs oxygen. So, and this area are basically empty, where those red and yellow patches goes. So this example also shows that our model is aligning with the already established orchards. And this is Everett Orchard. It's from near Matacuk Dam. You can see that orchard, and here also this area, basically this area is doing poor. When we see photos, it's not doing great in comparison to those areas where the plant looks great and they are more vigorous. So that is our results, and we are planning to do more research on this apple orchard suitability. And until now the result looks great and it's showing good results. And these are the references that I took from. And that's my all. And thank you for listening. And you can ask me any questions if you have.